Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today we are going to do a breakdown and overview of all the different Toyota 4Runner trim types you can get. Reason why is I had someone ask me which one they should get, and they're looking at getting a used 4Runner. But then I realized when I was looking into it, there's just so many. It's been out there for 13 years now. So which one do you get? Where do you get the most bang for your buck? It's really hard to say because of how many there are, but I'll do an overview so everyone gets a good understanding. Now, the 4Runner is by far the most dog-friendly vehicle you can get. So before we start the video, the shop dog already knows she gets her treat. In this video, I'm hoping to make sense of 13 years worth of 5th generation 4Runner trim types. The 5th gen came out in 2010 and has seen some mid-cycle refreshes, but for the most part, it's still the same vehicle. So if you plan on buying a used 4Runner, I will cover all 14, yes, I said 14 trim types that you could potentially find on the used market. And if you are planning on buying new, well, for one, good luck with dealer markups and also the Toyota production issues, but I will still cover those 8 trims in the 2023 lineup. When the 5th gen came out in 2010, Toyota started with 3 trim types, basically for 3 demographics. And those trim types still serve as the foundation for all the other trim types since. The SR5 was the base model for the everyday person. The Trail was a more capable off-road version with features such as a rear locking differential. And the Limited was more of a urban commuter SUV that had a smoother ride experience. With that in mind, I will cover how things have evolved with the SR5 and Trail in the first diagram, and then I will use a second diagram to cover just the Limited trim. Now I know what you're looking at is a boring one slide diagram, but this is the best way to display 13 years of trim evolution. What you are looking at is the finished diagram, but I'll go through it one by one. In 2010, we have the release of the SR5 and the Trail. Now, at that time, the 4Runner did not sell very well. There's a couple of reasons for this. One is the economy was still in recovery from the 2008 recession, but also the exterior of the vehicle really was not that attractive to buyers. The truck and SUV culture was already starting to migrate to that more aggressive look, and I think the Xterra, the Wrangler, and the Raptor was doing a better job capturing that shift. Not just that, the SR5 interior was quickly becoming outdated. And the only trim that came with heated leather seats was the Limited trim. Now, if you look at the SR5's interior, it still looked pretty similar to the 4th generation's system. However, in 2014, Toyota made some needed changes. From the exterior, the SR5 and Trail received a new front bumper design, new headlights, new taillights, and also new wheels. This combination made for a more aggressive and better looking 4Runner. And this 4Runner we still know today, 10 years later. Now for the interior, there's also an update. All the trims also received a gauge cluster and infotainment upgrade. I think these changes resonated well with buyers because the 4Runner sales quickly started to climb in that year. Now this is just my opinion, but I agree with the masses here. If I were shopping for a used 4Runner today, I would most likely not consider the 2010 to 2013 year group. Instead, on whatever website I'm on, I would exclusively filter any used car site for just 2014 and newer. But everyone has their opinion, and the pre-facelift 4Runners do go for about $5,000 less than the newer ones. So if you don't really care too much about the exterior design and you want to save some money, go for it. 2014 is also the year where the SR5 and Trail have their premium versions, which basically means a nicer, more comfortable interior with some luxury features such as a heated seat and maybe the moonroof. The very next year is 2015, and that's when the TRD Pro finally came out. There are some small changes to the TRD Pro as the years go by. For example, some year groups have Bilstein shocks, some years have Fox shocks, but really the TRD Pro has been the same since 2015, and it had a infotainment upgrade in 2020. Now, after the TRD Pro came out, it was clear that Toyota wanted to continue to market the TRD namesake across all their trim types. This brings us to 2017 when the TRD Off-Road came out. But this was just a rebadged name from the Trail trim type. Basically, if you want the 2017 TRD Off-Road 4Runner, but you find a great deal on a 2016 Trail, then just go with the Trail. It's literally the same vehicle, just with a different trim type name. Fast forward to 2020, and this is when the Venture trim type came out. Also, all the 4Runners received another minor gauge cluster and infotainment upgrade. This was likely done to try to keep up with the growing changes of interior design across the automotive industry. So, what the heck is the Venture? The Venture only existed for 2 years, but you can still find them on the used market. The Venture is based on the TRD Off-Road Premium trim type, and it came with some minor aftermarket additions, but that's pretty much it. I'll go into the specifics in the next video, but don't overpay for this one. In my opinion, the Venture should cost just slightly higher than the equivalent TRD Off-Road Premium. At most, maybe $1,500 higher, but really don't pay anything higher than that for this trim type. Then in 2021, you get another special trim type. This one was called the Trail Special Edition, and it only existed for 2 years. Now, why did Toyota name this the Trail Special Edition? I mean, they should have known better, because I've already seen people call this one the Trail. But remember, we already have a Trail. And to make it worse, the Trail Special Edition isn't even based on the Trail. It's based on the SR5, which means this Special Edition is actually the second lowest trim type across the 14 trim types that we will find. But let me give you a shout out to those sick rims. I think the blacked out TRD off-road rims are the best looking OEM rims Toyota has on any of their off-road vehicles. To finally wrap up this diagram, in 2023, we have the last and newest trim, which is the 40th Anniversary Special Edition. This is only offered as a new vehicle for 2023, but for this one, it is based on the SR5 Premium trim type. So no fancy off-roading features will be on the 40th Anniversary Edition. All right, let's move on to the Limited trim type. Just like the SR5 and the Trail, the Limited received a new facelift in 2014 to add that new front end, the headlights, the taillights, and the rims. And this is the Limited that we still know today. Now we fast forward 5 years and you get the 2019 release of the Limited Nightshade. And if you have 10 seconds to describe it, everything exterior with chrome is blacked out and the interior is also blacked out. That's it. Now on to 2020, you get the Limited and also the Nightshade. At this point, it looks like Toyota is trying to brand the Nightshade namesake, so they just rebadged the Limited Nightshade to just the Nightshade. Toyota is really trying to embrace this new brand to the point where they actually have a Nightshade minivan Sienna. I mean, who knows? Maybe Batman needs to bring his kids to soccer practice too. Now, we are quickly reaching the end of the Limited, but 2022 did have a new trim type. This one is called the TRD Sport. I'm not sure what Toyota is trying to do here. 12 years of 5th gen 4Runner, and then you release the TRD Sport version, and the only sporty part about it is the Sport Tune suspension. I think it would make more sense to call this the TRD Sport if you installed the 5.7 liter V8 engine that is found in the Tundra, Sequoia, and Lexus 570. But Toyota didn't do that, so I don't really understand what this trim type is serving, and it's probably my least favorite one. Now that closes out 2022 and brings us to 2023, where only the Limited and TRD Sport are available as new trucks. The Nightshade is no longer being offered for this year. So that was the overview of the evolution of all the trim types for this 4Runner. And I think this is more important for you used buyers out there. So please understand that the 2014 and 2020 had some changes that you might want to consider, and also be aware of the rebadge names and all of those special edition one-offs. That's the video. So in the next video, I'll go into more detail of these trim types. So subscribe if you want to see more and you want to see that next video. Thank you for watching.